Welcome everybody to this Gemini season flow. So for today's flow, whether you're practicing this during Gemini season or outside of, all you're going to need is your mat, and if you like, you can bring a block into your practice as well, just to modify and make things a little bit more supportive for you. But everything we're going to do on the mat today is standing. So we won't be going down onto the floor, we'll be using our core, our balance, and working from that standing energy. So I'll see you back here in just a second. Okay, so welcoming you back onto your mat. We're going to start, as I said, standing, first coming into our mountain pose. So we're going to roll the shoulders down the back of the spine. Maybe turning the palms to face slightly forward with a gentle bend in the knees. And just starting today by calling in our breath that's going to help us to remain focused and flowing through this flow today. So taking a nice deep inhale in through the nose. Exhale, maybe let that breath go with a sigh out through the mouth. Lovely, and we can practice that 2 more times. Inhaling, draw the breath in. Exhale, let it go out through the mouth. And once more, just like this. Inhale, filling all the way up. Exhale, let the shoulders go, let the breath go. Beautiful. Really tapping into the energy of the lungs, which the Gemini placement rules. And maybe now just bringing one hand to the heart, one to the belly, starting to find that bodily, that physical connection with the breath movement. So we're going to bring the breath in through the nose once again. And as you exhale this time, let the breath fall back out through the nose, a nice long exhale. Continuing the flow of breath just like this, feeling the rise and the fall of the belly and the chest. And just starting to bring your awareness down into the soles of the feet. So of course the feet are going to ground us through this practice today, as they will be our only base that we use through the majority of it. So we want to make sure that that earth connection is really strong here. And already maybe you start to feel the gentle engagement through the core. Feeling the beginning embers of your practice. So from here you can continue to keep the eyes closed, but we're going to take a nice big inhale, reaching the arms up towards the sky, collecting all that energy into the palms, and then exhale, let the hands come down to heart center. And repeating that twice more. So inhale, maybe following the gaze. Exhale, the hands come down. And once more, just like this. Inhale, scoop up all that energy. Feel the grounding through the soles of the feet. Exhale, let those hands melt to the heart. Beautiful. Stretching the arms out wide. Feel that opening across the chest. Maybe as you exhale, you take a gentle rounding here. Curving the back of the spine, drawing the chin down towards the chest. And then opening back through to center. We're going to take a nice easy twist here. So we're just going to wrap the arms, turning towards our right side to begin with, and maybe we gaze over the back shoulder. And then taking your time to bring the arms through center again and wrapping them round to the opposite side. Lovely, coming all the way back through center, maybe giving the shoulders a little roll, listening and being curious to any calls of sensation within the body. And then we're going to separate the feet wide here. So coming to turn the toes on a slight diagonal, we're going to just gently start to bend the knees and sink the hips downwards towards the earth. So wherever you land in this moment, just keeping the belly drawn in, nice length up through the spine. And we're going to reach our arms all the way up to the sky once again. And as we exhale, we're going to lower the arms into cactus as we find our goddess pose here. So giving yourself that moment to feel into the pose. As we're working with that Gemini energy, it's really important to stay curious. And that's a really beautiful practice to have. Gemini enhances our sort of new ways of thinking and perspective. So coming to be curious with a practice or with any of our practices allows us to stay open to, say, those new pathways of thinking. So we're going to hold here, as you may have seen me do then. I did reach up towards the sky, straightening through the legs. So say, just be curious with your practice. Find what feels good for you, especially as we start to just wake up and warm up the body here. So maybe your goddess pose is a little bit lifted in this moment. That's absolutely fine. And just feeling the energy, the breath flowing down to the root chakra, the base of the spine. And on our next exhale, we're going to flip the toes, or rather turn the toes to face forward and come to find a forward fold here. So reaching the hands down towards the earth. This is why we have a block in our practice. So you may want to bring the block just out in front of you as somewhere to balance the hands. So we're trying to keep as much as possible the energy out of the wrists, the forearms and the hands. So if you don't need a block, I would say move it to one side. If you do, just gently balancing here, but noticing the weight drawing forward into the toes, and see if you can take the hands off every now and then. Even if you are resting on the block, just give yourself that space to hover and use it as an aid or support. But try not to rely on it too much. Even if you're in that forward fold, just keeping the hands very light touch to the earth, and see if you can let the crown of the head begin to rest downwards. Coming into that full extension of the pose, and maybe as you close your eyes here and you just feel the sensations of the breath, you might start to notice that there's a call to bend one knee or the other knee. Or perhaps it's just staying in stillness. Maybe try to do the opposite of what you might normally do here. Beautiful. We're going to take our time to walk the hands round towards the front of the mat. Say very little weight here, just using them to support. You can bring the back knee down to the earth if you'd like to, or keeping it extended as we rise up through our crescent lunge. Arms come to reach either side of the head. The shoulders stay nice and soft, and maybe you extend through the back leg, drawing the back heel down and away. A lovely in-breath in through the nose. And as we exhale, we're going to float the arms down. If you can, keep the arms off as we come all the way around to the other side. Once again, inhale, finding that lift into your crescent lunge. Maybe that back knee is down, maybe it's lifted. Beautiful. Taking your time to come all the way back through center, through that forward fold, maybe interlocking the fingers, stretching the arms away, really pressing into those big toes to support you. And then gently bending through the knees, lifting the hips up. We come to find standing once again. Shuffling the toes, backs together, coming up nice and tall. Let's say maybe you want to ground once again through that mountain pose. Maybe you want to take a little shimmy out, whatever feels good, and maybe whatever feels different today. So from here, we're going to continue our standing practice, rooting down through the right leg. Of course, a soft bend in the knee if that feels right for you and a bit more supportive. And then we're going to pick up our left leg here. So drawing the left leg in, see if you can find that length up through the spine once again. And we're going to take our time to just gently open through that left hip. So I have my hand on the leg here, but it's really not doing a lot. It's just helping me to keep that energy in that direction. With the extra balance, maybe you lift the other arm up or bring it onto the hip, your choice. Lovely. See if you can keep that stabilization through the supporting leg as we come to find our tree pose. And this left foot can be on the inside of the thigh, inside of the shin, or down by the ankle. avoiding the knee as much as you can. We're going to inhale, sweep the arms to the sky. Exhale, let them melt down to the heart. Lovely. See if you can pick that leg all the way back up again. And then bring it softly down to the earth, shaking out the ankles, any little movement that feels good. Ready to find that on the other side. So we're going to pick up our right leg this time, stabilizing through the left. Remembering different sides of the body will feel different for us, different days, different times. So giving it a nice little squeeze, maybe see if you can make it a little bit more active, taking the hands away, and then just gently wobbling where we need to, opening through that right hip this time. Giving some space for you to land here before finding our tree pose. And of course you can place the foot wherever you want it to be. You can wobble and find your balance, and then maybe reaching the arms up and letting them float down to the heart. Lovely. It's not there for me on the left today. Bringing the legs all the way down, give them a little shake. So I'm going to turn to the long side of my mat now. You stay wherever you want. It's the same practice. And I'm just going to take a little forward fold, bend into the knees, taking hold of opposite elbows and maybe just gently swinging side to side, finding a rotation through the back body and across the shoulders. So Gemini is ruled by the planets of Mercury, our thinking mind, our communication. So it's a really good time to find a little bit of instinctive practice, while also grounding through what you already know. Gemini loves a challenge. Beautiful. So from here, we're going to sit the hips nice and low. We're going to let the arms sweep up and over by the ears to come to find Utkatasana, our chair pose. So giving ourselves a moment or two of breath flow here, maybe gazing up towards the hands. And then when you feel ready, we're going to slowly reach all the way up towards the sky, stretching the fingers, giving them a wiggle up on the toes. And as we exhale, I'm going to bring my hands down forward in front of me. Bend into the knees, keeping the heels lifted and finding that balance within the toes here. Beautiful, keeping that flow of breath going. Hands are going to come to heart center as I plant the soles of the feet to the earth. Lovely, finding rise here. Coming to find a few more balancing postures. Take what you want, leave the rest. And of course, if you need to drop a foot down at any point between each posture, then please do. So starting with the left foot rooted down to the earth, I'm going to begin to pick up the right leg, coming into my warrior 3, Virabhadrasana 3, so that energy from the heel to the crown of the head, toes pointing downwards. And just giving myself that moment to ground into this pose. From here, I'm going to come to find my half moon. So this is where you might take a block to support you out in front of you. Giving you an example here. So taking the block, whichever way you want to, say drop the foot down if you need to. Right leg is going to extend back and we begin to open through the side body here. So before where the toes were pointing downwards, this time we're opening to the side. And then taking our time, maybe staying lifted, maybe bringing the foot in here. And we're going to spiral that arm all the way down to the floor. Bringing the other arm to the floor, gently lifting through the leg before you find a forward fold here. Once again, maybe taking hold of opposite elbows, just taking a gentle sway side to side, maybe a little shake out, and then coming all the way back up again. Ready for the other side. Remember, different sides will feel different, so move with your own body and what's successful for you today. So you may come to this practice again next week, tomorrow, and it could look completely different. So this time we're going to ground down through the right foot. Hands are going to come to the heart to begin with. And we're going to pick up the left leg, sending it all the way back as we find Warrior 3, Virabhadrasana 3. Taking your time to engage through the core, maybe finding a focus point in front of you. And then gently beginning to open up to the side of the room once again. So maybe that bottom hand is lifted off of the floor, making this a more active pose, and of course staying into that standing sequence. Practicing here, maybe even bringing that back foot in. And your choice, you can spiral that top arm round, maybe come into a standing split here. If you need to drop the foot down as I just did, then do. And then taking your time to come forward fold. A little shuffle side to side. Maybe it even feels good to separate the feet a little bit here and sink yourself down through a yogi squat. So heels are on the mat, toes are off, and just bringing that body weight downwards towards the mat, but still balancing, still on the feet here. Beautiful. Take your time to slowly unravel all the way through the body. And when you arrive, giving everything a nice little shake off here. And just finding one more little balance. We're going to bring the right foot inwards and just giving a little hold here. Stabilizing down through the left foot. If you like, you can of course come to your dancer pose here by extending the arm forward, leg back. But otherwise, just dropping back down, coming to the other side. Lovely, and then releasing from here. We're going to give the ankles a little rotation one way, and then the other way. Much harder to do the other way. And then the other foot. Beautiful. Taking your time to come back to that goddess position. So toes pointing outwards. We're going to inhale, sweep that energy up to the sky. As you exhale this time, let the hands rest almost to the inside of the thighs. And we're going to draw our right shoulder forward. Gently stretching here through the thighs, through the forearms. And then over to the other side. Beautiful. Coming all the way back to standing, so give yourself a little shake out. Heel toe the feet all the way back to center. And as we are not doing any lying down, so we're not coming through Shavasana today, just give yourself this moment to land back in a standing position. Palms facing forward. So keeping the knees soft, shoulders away from the ears. And just allowing for that gentle flow of breath to return. Staying here for as long as you like, knowing that every practice we show up for is just that, it's a practice. If you wobbled and fell out of poses just as I did today, it's absolutely okay. You still showed up and gave it a go. Maybe that will look completely different for you on another day. I say Gemini season, if that's when you're practicing, all about taking that challenge. Finding new ways to explore old practices. So I hope you've been able to do that a little bit here, and of course, that can look however you want it to. Wishing you a beautiful rest of your day. Thank you so much for flowing with me.